Hello, manifestors. Let's talk about something so important today that it's a deal breaker for your manifestation. If you are, and if you have been after your manifestation for a while now, without manifesting it in your physical world, it's because you are not in your new state. You have not killed the old men. So this is what we are going to discuss today. And by the way, I discussed it in my podcast on Tuesday and in my blog article that I suggest that you read. Because as long as you're not getting this, most likely you won't get your desire. So it's super important that you do. So be sure to listen in all the way to the end of this video. In the meanwhile, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, comment and share. So it helps my channel to grow, since many of you are telling me that this is one of the best channels. It's time to show it. And also, you are helping more people to become master manifestors. So guys, you have to die to the old men and become the new men before you can change your reality, before you can manifest your desire. The old man has to die. There is no way around this. The law is very simple, but very strict. It doesn't lack double-mindedness. If you are double-minded, you are going to dwell, you are going to stay in, you are going to continue to manifest the old, whatever you've manifested up to now. So there is no room for being double-minded. The old man has to die in order for your reality, for your 3D world to change. That's just it. If you are someone who somehow you are still in love with your old stories, you still have somehow some pleasure. And yes, I use the word pleasure because I know how it is. I know that victimhood is addictive. And I know that we have developed some type of unhealthy relationship, unhealthy love with that old man of ours. It's like that old wound that we are caressing and loving secretly. If you are still in love with your old self, even though it's a sick love, it's the truth. We do fall in love somehow with the old self to the point that we can't let go. Someone told me recently that she is addicted to the old story and to telling the old story. If this is you, because trust me, this person is not the only one, right? We all have done that, and some of you are still doing it. As long as you are attached in any way, shape, or form to the old self, to the old man, your present reality in this world will stay the same. In order to change it, you have to have more love for what you want to be than what you have been so far. If not, you are going to stay the way you have always been. So let's take a quote from Neville and one from the Bible, which are telling us what to do very clearly. Neville says, "This law is based upon a principle. If you want something, you can have it, but you must be willing to give up what you are now in order to be what you want to be." The Bible says, "You cannot put new wine in old bottles or new patches upon old garments." Both of these are saying the same thing. You cannot expect the new in the old. Because by spiritual law, when you are in a state, that is a protection against anything that doesn't belong to that state, right? So if you remain in the state of being your old you, you are preventing, by this very fact, you are preventing your desire to manifest in your physical reality, because that desire exists in a new state, in another state. But you are still in the old. And the old has to die. You don't change the old. You just drop it. You leave it behind. You must be willing to give up that old state of yours, no matter how attached you are to it. You must be willing to give it up for good. If you want to manifest your desire, if you expect to manifest your desire, the old story has to go. And the old story belongs to the old men. How do I know when someone, even though they're telling me that they are living in the end and that they've worked on their self-concept and done a lot of good things, I'm not saying they haven't, but how do I know if they have really dropped the old men? By what they're saying. If they keep on bringing back anything, I don't care how small or big, if they are bringing up anything about the old story, it means that they have not fully let go of the old men. And when you haven't fully let go of the old men, then you're going to have good days where maybe the old story is almost non-existent. But then you're going to have bad days where the old story is kicking back in, big time sometimes. That's how you know that you have not killed the old men completely. If the old story still exists in you, you're still addicted to it, attracted to it, it's because you haven't killed the old men. You cannot take into your new consciousness any part of the old men. As long as you are attached to the old story by limiting beliefs, fears, and all the limitations that you create in your own mind, that's what keeps you from seeing your desire in your physical reality. Since consciousness is the only reality, your consciousness is the only reality. If any part of the old story is still in your consciousness, it means that you are not conscious of being who you want to be yet. You are still conscious of the old men, of the old story. I hope this is very clear, guys, because this is a deal breaker, as I said earlier. Understanding this and embodying this, really understanding it with every fiber of your being, not just intellectually, is really going to be a deal breaker for you between finally being who you want to be or not. That's that simple. Not only I believe, but I know for a fact that the best, easiest, and fastest way to get your desire is to dump the old story, dump the old man for good, and embody that new state where your version of you that already has what they want to have, already is who they want to be, exist. And this is why I do not teach and I do not believe in dwelling in the negative emotions. As I know there is a school of coaches out there that are teaching this. But if you know the law, if you know Neville's teaching, and if you know the teachers, the coaches that are based on Neville Goddard's teaching on the law, they do not teach dwelling in the feeling. None of those coaches, none of us teach how to dwell in the negative, unwanted feeling or emotions. Now, if you have to do that once to process some type of things, that's fine. Do that. Process your feelings whatever way works for you. But trust me, guys, that if you keep on dwelling on the negative, unwanted feeling or feelings, you are going to perpetuate the old man. Because that's what the old man is. The old man includes negative feelings, negative emotions, past emotions. So if you keep on dwelling on those emotions, that's not going to do it for you. That's not going to do what you want, that is, which is, I guess, eventually is to have the life that you want to have, right? Live the life that you want to live. Have the desires that you want to have and experience in this life. So now let me explain something clearly so you don't get confused. Emotions, as I mentioned in my last video, they don't have anything to do with your state, right? You can be in the state of being married, of being in a relationship, for example, but be sad or angry today. So your emotions in this case, they have nothing to do with your state. Or if you are already married and that day you could be sad or angry or happy, whatever. It has nothing to do with your state of being who you want to be. But if you dwell on emotions that imply that you are not the person that you want to be, not in the state that you want to be in, but rather that you are in the old state, that you are telling yourself the old story again and again and again with dwelling on those negative emotions. This is what is going to keep you in the opposite state of the state that you want to be in. And to make my point, this is the comment of a friend of mine and her experience when it comes to dwelling in the negative feeling and emotions. I am not a fan, as many know already, to sit with past emotions, ego triggers, or whatever. Because I do not want to give energy to the old man, not even for short. No need to do if there are infinite states, so even infinite states of the old man. I simply shift in revision to the old man state I prefer and left the crappy one go for good. Now, does Neville agree with this? I guess he does. Down below her post, she mentioned a quote from Neville. By revising the past, you rid yourself of any effect it may have on your future. Revision is truly the key, which can be used to unlock the doors that have kept you trapped in a particular state. Be ye transformed by the renewed of your mind. So definitely, the law of assumption, spiritual law, Neville Goddard's teaching agree with not dwelling in the negative feeling, in the negative state, in the negative story, in the old feeling, in the old state, in the old story. Because unless you want to play with that, it makes no sense whatsoever to help you to manifest the version of you that you want to experience in your life, in your body. It makes no sense at all. So you do what you want, but the thing is, if you keep on doing things that are contrary to the norms of the law and how it works, do not be surprised if you are not manifesting your desire and if you are not the version of yourself that you want to be. That's what I want to say, and that's why I'm adding this topic in this video. Not to mention that I have had clients and friends of clients who have been through this type of teaching, going through the negative feeling over and over, And because of it, they were spiraling down quite a bit, to the point that they got tired of it and quit consulting these type of coaches that kept them week after week into the negative emotions that they actually had to get rid of, right? Because as long as you are conscious of the unwanted, then your desire is not part of your consciousness, no matter what your desire is. So naturally, some people who have been through this type of coaching have felt so uncomfortable that eventually they quit this type of teaching, which was for the best for them. Let's read another quote from Neville and see what he has to say. So if you have learned the art of dying, you have learned the art of living. For man is immortal, and he must die endlessly. You must die to the old man. You must die to the old self, which means completely leave it behind. Why would you want to drag on negative emotions, negative feelings that belong to the old man? I don't understand why anyone would want to do this. So if you do not give up on anything that is negative and opposite to your desire, then it is obvious that you are not going to manifest your desire, because you're not giving up what you are now. Therefore, you are going to keep on having whatever it is, what you have now. Remember, the only way to manifest your desire is to quit completely the old man, the old story, and all the old feelings and emotions that go with them. Take them out completely, out of your consciousness, and bring in to your consciousness the state where your desires and the desired version of yourself that you want already exist. I hope this was helpful to you to understand why you may not have your desire right now and what you need to do starting right now. Be sure to listen to my podcast on this topic and read my blog article on this topic as well. At the end of this article, I give you a how-to so you can more easily drop the old man, die to the old man, and be reborn to the new. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.